What's up, everybody? It's your man right here. One and only, that beautiful Rhode Island Red Rooster, one of the original Road Warlords, and as always, bringing you the knowledge and dropping the science in this industry of what we call trucking. Okay, doing this particular video to speak about this fantasy dream world that people are caught up in when you're talking about the trucking industry, because there are many different things that are being thrown out here and stuff that just aren't true. Some things kind of, and well, a lot of things answer its own question, but then you still got those who want to go with this narrative, right? That trucking is somehow $1 million. It's $1 million a year business. You're making $1 million being a company driver or a lease driver or an own operator, and that's just simply not true and stuff. Um, the math and the science and stuff, man, just pretty much put things in perspective to show you that it's not true. So you got to come in a reality. Can you make money? Yes, you can make money in trucking. Is there money in trucking? Yes, it is. But it's not even about what you define money, because it is money. You see what I'm saying? $171,000 a year. That's good money compared to what can you find another job that you can do out here that can make that type of money? Now the problem is that, your expenses are going to eat a lot of that money up and stuff, particularly those that are in a lease purchase program. So, first let's go ahead and tackle this money issue and stuff, because a lot of people want to show their settlements and talk about, oh, I'm making $1,700, $1,800 a week doing this particular job here and stuff, and that just isn't true. You see what I'm saying? Because most jobs, first as company drivers and stuff, you're going to make anywhere between 30, you're going to be in the upper 30s to like the upper 40s. All right. The upper 30s to the upper 40s. So let's just say if you got paid 50 cents a mile, for instance, if you got paid 50 cents a mile and you was doing 3,000 miles a week, that's $1,500. So where's this $1,700 coming from? You're still $200 shot. That's if you getting paid 50 cents a mile doing 3,000 miles. Okay. Now a lot of people want to be, there's two type of rotations that you're on, a 5-day rotation and a 7-day rotation. A lot of people work on a 5-day rotation because they want to be home on the weekends. Okay. You want to be home on the weekends and stuff like that. So if you're talking about 50 cents a mile, right? If you're talking about 50 cents a mile, you're doing 3,000 miles in 5 days and stuff. So you just take 3,000 and divide it up by 5. That means every day you got to be doing 600 miles a day, which you're not doing. And stuff. That's 600 miles a day on a 5-day rotation. Now, if you're working 7 days, you divide that up by 7, and that gives you 428 miles that you got to do every day. 428 miles. Now, that's possible. But then there are a lot of other things that come into play and stuff that could keep you from doing that. You got to get loaded. Depends on what areas you're going to. Are you getting the load and stuff, and are you getting the load to where you're picking up and you're delivering every day? These type of sciences and stuff, man, are some very real things, right, that happen in trucking that people just don't put into perspective. So you're in this fantasy world. All right. So when a person shows that they made $1,700 in their settlement, right, then it can be a listed thing. Like a lot of times I say it's not something consistent. You see what I'm saying? They're not saying, okay, well, here's my settlements for the month and stuff, right? When they start posting things up, yeah, you can show one settlement, but could you show 4 settlements consistently? You see what I'm saying? This is what I made this week. This is what I made last week. This is what I made last week. This is what I made last week. And do something comparative and stuff and see, oh well, that's put too much of my business out there. Yeah. But you want to show people that you're making $1,700 a week. That's just not possible, man. Again, even at 50 cents a mile, right? At 3,000 miles, you're making $1,500. You're still $200 shy. All right. 600 miles a day if you're on a 5-day rotation. 420 miles a day if you're on a 7-day rotation. That means, you're working on the weekends. 428 miles. So you see, the more miles you do, the more you're going to have to do on the average. So, we're on electronic log now and stuff. And so, yeah, you're going to have some good days, but you're going to also have some bad days too. And every day just ain't going to be a good day. You might drive 11 hours and stuff, and you might not be able to get but 300 miles under your belt. That's under your best, that's under your best condition. It's not you stopping and it's not you stopping at every truck stop or whatever and stuff. It's just the condition for travel isn't going to allow you to do that sort of miles and stuff that day. Traffic might be bad everywhere that you go. Construction, speed. All these things are very real variables that goes on out here that people just don't want to equate into the industry as well. Hey, I'm just making all this money and stuff like that, and that's just not the case. That's just not it and stuff. And then, if you were making it, you was making it consistently, then a lot of stuff you see drivers doing is quit. If they're making this money consistently, then why are they quitting? Oh, well, I didn't get along with my dispatch or whatever. But you're doing $1,700 a week. You're clearing $1,700 a week and stuff. That's take home. Now, you're not grossing at your net. But I just showed where, you're grossing 15 by 3,000 miles that they're paying you 50 cents a mile and stuff. So, it's just, that's just not the reality of things and stuff. As a company driver, you're going to be making anywhere between $600-$700 a week. That's the reality. Now, if you can't do good with that and stuff, then I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you and stuff. Well, hey, I can flip burgers and can make more money and stuff than this. Well, okay, let's do another. Let's bring some more math out here and stuff. Some reality. If you're talking about you can flip burgers and can make more money than driving a truck and stuff, then let's put this in perspective, all right? Let's just say you go flip burgers and stuff like that. Now, let's just say you go in there, you're making $15 an hour. Let's just say they're gonna go ahead and break you off $15 an hour, and you do 40 hours a week. That's $600. That's $600 gross. $600 gross. Now, when I'm saying between 600 and 700 and stuff, man, that's your net. That's your net. But if they pay you $15 an hour and stuff flipping burgers, right, and you do 40 hours a week at $15 an hour, that's $600. So, that's an open and shut case too and stuff. People just need to break out of this fantasy dream world when it comes to trucking. This is not $1 million a year. It's not $1 million a year business. It's not. Not as a company driver, not as a lease driver with one truck, one trailer. That's just not possible. It's not feasible. But everyone always want to talk about all this money and stuff, right? But if they have all this money, which is the next thing and stuff, then you see, you will start to invest your money in places to where it's going to be beneficial for your business. Which you see a lot of guys and stuff don't do. It's like, well, and the thing, this is the reality, is when you never had something before and stuff, and then you finally get it, what do? You put it into things and stuff that you never had, because chances are you'll probably never get those things by doing any other thing. It's an achievement for you. That's why a lot of guys go buy, cars and stuff like that. And like I said, it's no offense against people who buy, luxury cars or whatever, right? But see, to get those things right off, to get those things right off and stuff is very telling. It's very telling and stuff. And so, instead of taking that money and investing it in business, they well, all right, I'm just go out here and buy this BMW. I'm gonna go out here and buy this BMW and stuff. Meanwhile, I'm driving this truck with no air conditioning. Well, I don't spend no money on my equipment. Period. I got all this type of stuff going on with my truck. That people plainly seeing stuff, but you making all this money. But see, as far as like putting money back in your business, they don't do no don't set up no escrow. Don't set up no escrow with the company because they're going to be taking you, because you're not going to be able to get your money. Somebody's going to rob you or whatever and stuff like that. When I'm like this, I had an escrow. I had an escrow. I still do have an escrow, and I got it with the company. And when I quit, they gave me my money. When I quit, they gave me my money. I was with Big Rock for 6 years. When I told them that, hey, listen, I'm done, I'm out of here and stuff like that, they cut me my check, right? They cut me my check right then and stuff. In fact, they cut me 2 checks. They even forgot the fact that they gave me my first check. They forgot that they gave my first check and stuff, and they cut me another escrow check. And I told them, I said, no, I've already got, and I had to explain it to them in detail. I'm like, look, on this day right here, this is when y'all gave me my money. I had to give it to explain. They would say, no, we didn't do that. We didn't do that and stuff. We never gave you money and stuff. Here's your check. And I had to go into detail and stuff with them because that's just not something that you don't do. Because in the business world and stuff, you got to also think about others that are there too. If you're sitting there, they already gave me my money, and then they're going to cut me a check for money that they thought they didn't give me, and I take it and I spend it, then I'm hurting those and stuff that's there. That's why when you go to certain companies and stuff, they raise up certain things and stuff, your expenses. That's why, because people are taking things and stuff that don't belong to them, and then they can't recoup the money. They can't recoup the money and stuff, so they have to raise the rates up and stuff on the people that's there in order to recoup their money. So see, I don't do that. I get what's mine and stuff, and that's that. I keep documents to show and prove and stuff, and then I go into details about if there's any kind of discrepancies or whatever. That's what I run into a lot. People trying to give me money, when they already gave me money and stuff, on the first go round. But anyway, so let's go into this lease thing, right? Let's go into this lease thing. Now, for those of you stuff that going into a lease, you're going in either one of two ways. You're either going in like myself and many others and stuff that have their own equipment. They have their own equipment. You're going to a company and you're going to lease on with them, right? That means that your expenses are controlled. And what I mean by that is that, you're not going to be getting very many things and stuff from the company that you're leasing with. A base plate, a IFTA sticker, some permits, a trailer, and a little bit of insurance and stuff. And so when you add those, that's what I call overhead expenses. So when you add those overhead expenses in and stuff, it might come up anywhere from $100 to $300 a week. $100 to $300 a week. And then, you got your little micro transactions, like if you use their fuel card, then they may charge. They may not charge. Then, of course, fuel, that's an expense everyone has to pay and stuff. But, again, that's a controlled expense. That's a controlled expense and stuff. So, if you're coming in with your own equipment, then chances are you're going to make better money than someone who's in a lease purchase, which means that you're going over there and they're providing the equipment. When they provide the equipment and stuff, then you're looking at a very high overhead. You're looking at a very high overhead and stuff. You're paying for the truck. You're paying for the truck. You're paying, again, their insurance on the truck. You have to use their insurance. You have to use their insurance on the base plate. They charge a certain amount. They may charge a certain amount for your heavy highway use tax, your $22.90. The expenses go on and stuff. So your overhead and stuff. You're looking at anywhere between $1,200-$1,500, $1,200-$1,500 and stuff for your overhead versus paying $300. So if you're anywhere from $100 to $300. Now, people want to say, well, you can't, that there's no money in the lease and stuff. Let me remind you again. Okay, let's just say they only pay you $1.25 a mile, all miles. $1.25 a mile, and you do 2,700 miles a week. If you do 2,700 miles a week at $1.25, that's a little over $3,000. That's $3,300, in fact. $3,300. So let's just say your truck is averaging 5.5 miles to the gallon, right? 5.5 miles to the gallon, and you're doing 2,700 miles, and you're buying fuel off their networking at $2.90 a mile. $2.90. Then that means you're spending $1,300 in the fuel for the 2,700 miles that you ran at $1.25 a mile. Okay, 3,300. So that's 3,300. So you take 3,300, multiply that by 52. That's $171,000. But people want to say, "Oh, that's no money. That's no money and stuff." That is money. But see, to be politically correct, that is money. Now, what happens is that your money is tied up in expenses. Your money is tied up in expenses and stuff. So, again, we just did how much you make gross. We did your fuel at $1,300, $1,300 a week at $2.90, running 2,700 miles off the networking at $2 off for 2,700 miles a week at $1.25 a mile. Okay. So you spent $1,300. Your gross is $3,300. That means you got $2,000 left. Now, okay, a person that's in a lease that brought their own equipment and stuff over, they're looking at all right at $300. At $300 and stuff. So you subtract 300. That leaves you with 27. That leaves you with 1,700. That leaves you with 1,700, and you got all expenses paid. Okay. Now, if you're in a lease, and your overhead and stuff, it's going to be, especially your startup fees and stuff. You're looking at about 1,500. All right. You're looking at about 1,500. So that leaves you with 500. That leaves you with $500 and stuff, to the good. Okay. So a person that has 1,700, right, to manage versus a person that has 500 to manage, you can see where the difference and stuff is and stuff. So that's the thing there and stuff, is that your expenses, you have a lot to work with if you're coming over with your own equipment versus somebody that's in a lease program. And see, that's what happens a lot of times and stuff. And so then there are other variables that go on inside the lease program and stuff, something that I'll cover a little bit later on. But see, those are your variations right there and stuff, is that you make the same amount of money whether you come in with your own truck or whether you're leasing on. The difference is how much expenses and stuff that you're going to pay in a lease program that you got through a company versus your own. You got control expenses and stuff on the outside. All right. So this other thing about these trucks, right? These other things and stuff about these trucks and stuff, again, you got to get back into the reality of stuff. A lot of people talk about, well, hey, buy you an older truck. Okay. Now, you can do that. But just like how I covered before, it's that if you have very little insight about the industry, right, then buying an older truck isn't going to do, it's not going to do you very much good, because you got this older truck, but you don't know what to do. You don't know what things and stuff need to be fixed. You don't know what things and stuff that don't. And you have very little insight about the industry. The other thing about older trucks and stuff is that you're not going to be as fortunate to find one at a lower price. You know, like my man, I'm gonna use him as an example. You know, I love this brother and stuff, but I'm gonna be real, right? Because we're about being real and stuff. My man Chasing Andrew. Now, he got his truck for $8,000. He got his truck for $8,000. We seen that, okay? We seen that. But like I said, to be real about that truck, he got a 2007 Freightliner Classic, which is a truck that people want, okay? Collectors want that type of truck, especially being a flat top. Especially being a flat top. People love those model trucks right there. But the only reason why people stepped away from that truck and stuff is when they popped that hood and they seen that Mercedes-Benz engine. They like, nope, ain't no way, I don't want it. Ain't no way I don't want it and stuff. I mean, guys, if that truck would have had, okay, being that it was 07 and stuff, there was only three type of engines that you can get for that truck. The Mercedes-Benz engine, the Detroit 60 series, and the C15 Cat. If it would have had a Detroit or a Cat in it, it wouldn't have mattered what kind of motor was under that hood and stuff. That truck, the motor could have been blown up. He wouldn't have got it for $8,000. He wouldn't have got it for $8,000. Now, he got the truck. He ran with it. I'm pretty sure that the people are looking back at it now and stuff, and they saying, man, daggone, we had a good piece of equipment. They are probably beating themselves in the head right now and stuff and saying we should have sold that truck for about $15,000-$16,000. Now, granted, the man got the truck. He ran the truck a whole year and stuff like that, and then he doing some preventive maintenance and stuff on it now. But that's because he had years of understanding to get to that level. Okay? Years of understanding to get to that level and stuff. So a person that's just starting out, they're saying, I don't know which way to go and stuff, right? You're going to have to learn the industry. And unfortunately, the only way that you can get that type of experience and stuff is through the only way that you're going to have to get that type of lesson is through your own experience. Because see, no matter how much I explain or many other people and stuff that explain it, you're not going to know and stuff until you go through it yourself. That's the very thing that happened to me when I decided that I wanted to become my own operator. I went into a lease purchase program and stuff first, thinking that I can get the truck. But with the experience and stuff that I have, I know that now that was a very, that wasn't a very smart thing and stuff to do. But in me learning these things and stuff, me going through a lease purchase program, then going through a truck, then getting the truck and stuff, and then going to a lease program where other people found loads for me where I'm supposed to be finding for myself. These things, right, collectively came together and it brought me to where I am now and stuff. And I say that I'm glad that I learned these things because now I know what to look for. I know what to experience and stuff when I go through certain things. I put certain information and stuff out here, for people. But again, it might not make sense to you and stuff because, if you've never been through it, right, then you can't relate. You can't relate and stuff. And so, if you can't relate, then you don't know exactly what to do in certain situations. Experience is the best teaching. Experience is the best teaching. So, if you are, if you're fortunate enough to find an older piece of equipment, do you know what to do when you get the truck? Do you know what things and stuff you need to tackle? So you got the truck at a low price. Do you know what things and stuff that you need to tackle? Do you know what people that you can take it to get certain things and stuff done? Well, hey, I don't want to mess with no newer truck and stuff because of this emission thing. what is this surgery and stuff that you're talking about? You know, these surgeries and stuff, what are you talking about? What are these doctors and stuff that you go to get the surgery and stuff performed? You know, again, when I got this truck right here, I was stuck on the issue of saying I'm not going to get the surgery. What I'm gonna keep doing, what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get my truck fixed, because if I go get this surgery, then I hear a lot of people talking about it and stuff, but you know, these type of things can happen, those type of things can happen, and it's a real possibility. It's a real possibility. But what was real was the fact that these emission trucks and stuff, they fail after 5 years. That's something real, and so you got to have a backup plan, and your plan can't be going to a manufacturer and saying, okay, put another one box up here, fix my emission system, fix all my other stuff, and then I'm gonna be good to go for another 5 years. It don't work that way. With your engines, you know, with your engines, your transmissions, you can do that stuff all day long. But when it comes to these emissions, it's something that's brand new, and it's something that's just destined to fail, because there's not a lot of science and stuff in it. You know, no one came up and said, okay, this is how we fix the problem. Because, you know, Max Force, for instance, Max Force, when they came out, the reason why Max Force failed was because of their emission system. But you see, people wanted to tie in and say, oh, well, it's just a bad motor. It's just a bad motor. It was poorly manufactured. Max Force has a very good motor. You see what I'm saying? Those sciences right there and stuff is very basic. The science is very basic and stuff. If you get you a Max Force engine, then you do fine. But what happens is when your emissions is tied in into your engine, and your emissions fails, right? And you get that 00 D rate, which is what a lot of people ran into and stuff. The problem is that with Max Force, they were a brand new entity that came out. And so when the emission system failed, just like your Detroits and your Cummins, when their emission system failed and stuff, and the fact that they are a company that just came out, their reliability and stuff, man, was very low. This is the very reason why Mack is not a very popular truck out here. This is why Mack is not a very popular truck out here. This is why Volvo wasn't very popular. Most people that are running Volvos, they got X15 Cummins in them. They got X15 Cummins in them and stuff. They just recently ramped up. They just recently ramped up and stuff, you know, with Volvo and stuff. This is why they're number one right now and stuff, is that they got a warranty system like no other in the industry. Like no other in the industry. This is why a lot of people don't complain about the Volvo, is that, you know, they were facing the same issue just like everybody else, just like the Detroit, just like the Cummins. The thing was, Volvo said, we're going to jump on this thing, we're going to fix it, we don't care what it takes, and we're going to eat up all the expense. We're going to take care of your towing, we're going to take care of your towing, we're going to take care of your downtime. The only money that you got to have and stuff is just a little money for yourself. And we're going to get you out of there and stuff. Not only that, but we're going to track it and make sure that it's working properly. And if it's not, we're going to notify you, get you to the nearest place, and they're going to fix it, no questions asked, because it's under our warranty system. This is why Volvo is the most popular truck out here right now for people who want to own equipment. Hands down. Because they know when that stuff fails, it's going in the shop, and they're going to get on it, they're going to fix it, and it doesn't matter how many times the stuff it takes. Detroit and Cummins is not doing that. But the reason why Detroit and Cummins is popular, because they've been out for so many years. And when the issue came up with their emission system, is that they're saying that we've been in business so much is that people have a sense of reliability. Even though their faith and stuff, man, is falling. This is why when you look around, you see most of the trucks and stuff that are out here are Volvo. That's why Volvo is winning. So, you know, they got to take, you know, so in order for Detroit and Cummins and stuff to stay in the game, they got to take a page and stuff from Volvo and say, well, we're going to have to step it up just like them. But you got many years and stuff in the industry. Plus, a lot of their money they make is from older equipment. That's why they're able to stay in the game and stuff as long as they are. But Max Force, on the other hand, they were an entity that came out with a failed system, right? A failed emission system, just like everybody else's, and it was tied into that motor. It was tied into that motor and stuff. And because it kept failing so many times and stuff, they were like, you know what? People just made it unreliable. Now for those and stuff that went and got the surgery, they saying that's one of the best trucks and stuff they ever had, because the parts are cheap. The parts are cheap. They readily available. And for those and stuff that can fix it, they in and out of it and stuff. Now again, the downside is that they got the surgery. They got the surgery and stuff, and so but for most people and stuff, they don't go to manufacturers, which you shouldn't have to go to anyway. Right? You just find you a mechanic that knows what they're doing and stuff like that. And there are plenty of people that's out there. They don't ask questions. They like, listen, you got this problem right here. We're going to fix it. And that's that. They're not going in there looking for things. Just like when I went and got these seats from Freightliner. When I went to go get these seats from Freightliner and stuff, they agreed to install them. They agreed to install them and stuff. But, when I took the truck in the shop, the guy seen that flashing light. The first thing he wanted to do was hook this thing up to that machine. I said, no, that ain't happening. And so, I kind of forgot. Like, wait a minute, whoa, what are you doing? I didn't come in here for anything and stuff except these seats and stuff. That's it. So put the seats in and let me go. Well, I want to hook this thing up and see, what's going on. No, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that and stuff. My truck just need a regen and stuff, and that's it. That's all it is and stuff, But like I said, they got to ask some questions. They got to ask a question that didn't relate to the subject matter at hand and stuff. I seen these seats in there. They was at a good price. They charged fairly decent and stuff for the install, and so that was that. But I had to sit out there the whole time and stuff just to make sure that the guy put the seats in and stuff, and that was that. That was me going to the manufacturer. But again, that's for me learning certain things and stuff out here in this industry. So, let's do a summary, okay? Number one, trucking is not a $1 million a year business for those that are company drivers, for those and stuff that are in a lease. Notice that I didn't say anything about a person. Notice I didn't say anything about those and stuff that got their own authority. I did not say anything. Now, if you got your own authority, that's a little bit different. You have a greater possibility of making $1 million. It can be $1 million business for you and stuff if you got your own authority. It means you got your own numbers, your own truck, your own trailer. Sky's the limit. It's a great possibility and stuff, that it can be done. Shout out to Ghost, Steel Hogan. If you want to see if it's a real possibility, holler at somebody like him, somebody that got their own authority, got their own truck, their own trailer, doing their own thing. Again, notice I did not say anything about anybody that had their own authority. I'm talking about company drivers. I'm talking about people that are in the lease. It is not a possibility for you to make $1 million out here. All right? I just showed and proved and stuff that at $1.25 a mile, if you do 2,700 miles a week for 52 weeks, that's $171,000. So is that money? Absolutely, because you can't find no other job, right, with a non-skill set to make that type of money a year. Your money is going to be tied up in expenses. So the more expenses you have, the less money you're going to be having in your hand that will allow you to do certain things and stuff in your business. That's the short way of doing things, okay? That's the short way about it of doing things. The more expenses that you have, the less money you have and stuff to do things as pertains to your business, as pertains to your personal life. Plain and simple. Okay, but that's at $1.25 a mile. $1.25 a mile doing 2,700 miles a week. That's $3,300. That's 33. Multiply that by 52, 171,000. So is that money? Absolutely. But how much expenses do you have and stuff to say you're going to be able to keep all that money. All right. Company drivers, you're not going to be making those $1,700 and stuff a week. You know, net, you're going to be doing anywhere between $600 to $800. $600 to $800 net. Okay. Now, you know, and that depends on if you work regularly and stuff like that. You know, if not, then, you know, your check and stuff is not going to be as high. Just understand that this industry is not going to always, you know, the consistency and stuff is not going to always be there. You're not going to be running the same lane and stuff. And so that means you're going to be subjugated to certain conditions and stuff, and it changes daily. So where you got clear and open roads and stuff today, tomorrow, you know, traffic might be the holdup. Today, the customer might be the holdup. The consignee might be the holdup. You know, you may have breakdowns and stuff like that. You got to equate these things into the reality of trucking, and understand is that, you know, can there be some consistency? Yes. You know, but it's all about learning the lane of travel. But you're only going to get that through experience. It's not, you know, you can watch as many YouTube pages and stuff about many truck drivers, but, you know, it's you getting down to the real nitty gritty about learning about the thing that you're in, right? Learning your lanes of travel and stuff, and then making an assessment about all these things and stuff, and that way you can bring up an average for yourself, okay? So that's the thing there and stuff. You know, the money, you're in a lease. The less expenses you have, the more money you're going to have and stuff to you. Plain and simple. So it's all about eliminating unneedless expenses. And make sure that everything and stuff counts. Make sure that everything counts to you and stuff. And so if you don't have an understanding, this is a time for you to learn. Okay? But in the learning process you can't do two things at once. You can't be making money, you know, learning while you're earning. You're going to learn, and you're going to learn how to earn. And then when you earn, that's when you're going to start earning because you learn. And that's when you're going to have that's when you're going to be doing so good. Like I said, you know, follow Chasing Andrews and stuff. I mean, you know, but make sure that you follow him from the first time he got into the industry to where he is now and stuff. And what do you see? A person that's learning before he earned. Now he's in the earning stage. But you look at everything and stuff that he learned before then. He's fallen quite a few times. But sometimes and stuff, that's what it takes. So take that in perspective. Don't look at it and say, oh, well, you know, daggone, hey, look at his older videos and stuff. Start out with nights and stuff like that, and, you know, follow him through his journey. And you'll see where he got there and stuff. I mean, the reason why he's the boss is because he paid the cost. He paid the cost. The reason why, if you see a lot of these guys and stuff, they're making money consistently and stuff like that. You see them, they always at home or they're doing good and stuff. It's because, you know, they paid their dues. Now it's time for them to cruise. That's what it means. So, you know, you got to learn in order to earn. And once you start earning, it's because you learn. Plain and simple. So, I'll go ahead and end on that note there and stuff. If you have any, hit me up on Instagram and stuff, which is Rhode Island Red Rooster 22. Rhode Island Red Rooster 22, where I'm always posting up things about my 2013 Freightliner Cascadia, while I also post up words of wisdom and stuff as well. Feel free to contact me. My contact information is on my YouTube page. I do say that text me first before you call me, right? That way I know who you are, I know what the subject matter is about and stuff. I can let you know when I'll be available so that when we do talk, we can go into constructive dialogue. And with that being said, it's your man here, the one and only, that beautiful Rhode Island Red Rooster. Telling you as always, continue to do your research, fact-finding studies, honest on your skills every day. Till next time we talk, next time we meet. Be safe, be easy, and peace out.